Good afternoon. I'm happy to be here. My name is Roger Holloway, and I'm the co-director for the Illinois Regional Extension Center. I'm very proud today to have with me Dr. Larry Kosinski, a practicing gastroenterologist from Elgin, Illinois. Larry, would you tell us a little bit about you and your practice, please?
Well, as you said, I am a gastroenterologist. I've been in practice for about 27 years now. And although our practice is based in Elgin, we actually are the Illinois Gastroenterology Group and have a presence that extends from the Fox Valley all the way to Lake Michigan along the north, and now a new practice located on the south side of Chicago. So we're about 35 doctors at this point, single specialty gastroenterology.
Would you tell us a little bit about how did you first come to the idea that there was benefit in electronic health records for your practice?
I have always wanted to get my hands around the data better than you could just by looking at your stack of charts sitting on your wall. And way back, we're talking 20 years back, I was creating relational databases with encounter data, just our visits, the CPT codes, the ICD-9s, the visits, to try to get a handle on what was going in the practice, what diagnoses were driving things. And this matured over time to include the entire health record. I was involved in a project for an electronic health record back at the end of the 1990s that was revolutionary at the time. It was created by GE. And then later in the course of the last decade, we actually created our own electronic health record at our practice. It ran on a SQL database, and it was eventually ASP-based technology. The reason to push for it, though, was to see if we could get a handle around the information necessary to manage our practice better. And it really has been extremely beneficial to us in decision making over the years.
What were your initial impressions about the benefit you were gaining? What is it that you could do once you began looking at that information that you were challenged by when it was in paper?
I tend to look upon this as three separate phases of development. The first phase of our development was concerned with our billing. When was a patient seen? Who saw the patient? What was done to the patient? Why was it done? Really just based on billing data. And the benefits at that phase of the development of electronic health records was really the billing departments, the insurance companies were benefiting from that. But we could, for the first time, get a real handle on how many diabetics we were seeing, how often we were seeing them, how many hypertensives, how many GI bleeds we were seeing. It helped us manage the practice. The second phase of this, which really encompassed most of the last decade, had to do with the building of the actual electronic medical record. The benefits to this have been enormous for the practice. Not only do we know the previous data we had, but now we have access to clinical information no matter where we're practicing. So with the advent of the internet and the access to the electronic health record, I have access to patient data 24/7. It gives me benefits that I never had before. I used to abhor the thought of having to go back to the office to check my messages. Third phase of our development, the patient will be the major beneficiary, because in addition to the patient being able to have access to their records, the information in standardized format will be able to be used to improve quality of care on a real-time basis, much faster than we've ever been able to do in the past.
What are the do-overs that you learned as a result of that experience?
They're definitely out there. The biggest challenge has been change. Good physicians build habits early in their careers. That's how they become good doctors. They know what drug they use for certain things. They know how they handle certain problems. So when we come in with a disruptive technology like an electronic health record and we impose change on these doctors, they don't necessarily run to it right away. It becomes something that's a challenge to them. So the major challenge has been change. One of the major do-overs, I think, if I had to do it all over again, would be that to be very, very disciplined from day one on having standardized data in my EHR. not allowing as much free text, building in more selected data fields that were structured data. Because now what I want to manage that, and I want to get my hands around the drivers of the decisions so that we can create better clinical decision support tools.
Any insight you might share with the audience in terms of the importance of culture?
Culture and process management. Culture management, process management, they're intertwined. And the mistake that is made too often is that the electronic health record is placed into a culture and into a set of processes, and those processes are not revised, and the culture is threatened then. Almost every one of my employees, when we would roll out another phase of the electronic record, would be worried that they were going to lose their job. The biggest question, you're not going to need me anymore. Well, yes, we are, but you're going to be doing something different. You're not going to be filing faxes that come off the fax machine from the various hospitals. You're going to be assisting us in making sure that these are loaded in the right electronic format. So the culture is a mobile one, it's a plastic one, it's one that changes, but the one element of it that should never change is that we're in the patient care business. We're trying to provide excellent patient care, and we just have a different tool today to use.
That this is going to change the way I practice medicine.
And it's going to make your life easier. Right. In the end, it will. We make an investment in this. So yes, it's difficult to learn. It's difficult to change your habits in the past. You're doing things differently than you did before. But once you master that, then you reap the long-term benefits of the technology. We had the philosophy, the train has left the station, and we're not going back to paper. And everybody really did come on board. We lost a couple, but the money's allocated, the processes are in place, and they expect us to implement them. And it's going to happen. It's happening all around us, as we saw recently at HIMSS. We're not going to stop this train. This is definitely going forward. This is a one-time opportunity that the federal government has created to assist these primary care doctors and specialists in embracing the change. They're basically bankrolling it. They are creating entities like the Illinois REC that are designed to assist the physicians to embrace it and get over the hurdles that are in front of them. This is a one-time opportunity. And I think anyone in practice who doesn't recognize the fact that they're going to be better off after this needs to think about it again.
Well, Doctor, thank you very much. I appreciate your time and certainly the interesting path that you've taken in the adoption of electronic health records.
Thank you.